Besides this, he is a certified educational counselor from University of Melbourne. Further, he is a registered teacher at the Victorian Institute of Teaching. His academic professional experience includes various prestigious and responsible positions. He is the director of Atherton Academies International Proprietary Limited, Minecraft Juniors Consultancy Proprietary Limited, and Chiang Mai Park Education Technology in Australia. Academically, he is a certified Cambridge English Language Assessment Examiner and second language speaking assessor. He has vast experience of teaching at various levels in different roles. Initially, he has served at Harrow International School, Shanghai. He performed his role as a senior education advisor, head of English at Cambridge International Centre in Shanghai. He has also served as the Director of Student Services at British International School, Shanghai. He has served as PGCE Teacher Training Mentor at Sunderland University, United Kingdom. He has extended his services as Senior Education Consultant at Chuna Education Research Network at Tsinghua University. Further, he has also performed the role of Senior School Improvement Consultant in Department of Education, England. He is an advanced skills teacher in Victorian English Department. Which includes his contribution as Director of Tourism and Arts, Wodonga City Council and Alveri Wodonga Development Corporation. Further, he has also extended his services as the Director of both Tourism, Devonport, Northwest Tasmania and Melbourne City Innovation and Enterprise Centre. He is on the board of Community Consultative Panel of Federation Square Project. He is an executive member of Australia-China Friendship Society. So today, we are privileged to meet this inspiring educationist, counselor, and a specialist analyst through this virtual mode. Let us join together to welcome him virtually. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much. I think by the time we go through the introductions, I didn't know that was coming. We've almost at our hour. So we've only got about 2 minutes left. And I feel very old listening to that. Part of my presentation today is about accepting change. And my mother said to me many years ago, "You should be a head teacher by now." And I said to her, "Mum, I need to learn more, I need to do more, I need to find out more things." So part of today is about accepting change without looking too hard at the problems that we're facing. So first of all, thank you very much for the invitation to meet with you, and thank you very much for everybody coming. I was just reading, very, very hot in India today, and Melbourne it's around about 21 degrees, very mild and quite nice. So I feel Kutch must be very, very hot and steamy today. I saw a lot of fans going around. So what I want to do first of all is to introduce through the PowerPoint, then to go into, if you have any questions, we can take questions from the floor, and I can also accept chat questions as we move along. So let me find where I can share my screen. Yes. Right, so first of all, when I was asked to prepare something for achieving sustainable development goals, it's a huge, huge task. And working with a school in the United States at the moment, we came up with the name International Ecological Agricultural Innovation Hub. And what a mouthful. So part of today, we need a new name. We need an appropriate name. So during the presentation, if you can think of a new name, either email it to me at the end of the session, or I'll put it on the chat as we go through. Now there is a prize for the person who comes up with the best name for what we're going to be discussing and developing today. So next time I'm in coach, it's a dinner for two for the person or persons who come up with the best name. Okay, so my name development is fairly poor. So let's look at a bit of innovation from you. Let's just have a look at what we're seeing at the moment, what we're about.
There's only Mother Nature. I've been here for over 4.5 billion years. 2,500 times longer than you. Don't really need people, but people need me. Yes, your future depends on me. When I thrive, you thrive. When I falter, or worse. Been here for eons. I have fed species greater than you. I have starved species greater than you. My oceans, my soil, my flowing streams, my forests, they all can take you. You choose to live each day, whether you regard or disregard me, doesn't really matter to me. One way or the other, your actions will determine your fate, not mine. I am nature. I will go on. I am prepared to evolve. Are you?
But I'm
Some call me nature.
to evolve. And that's the question, how do we do it? Now, a little bit of background. I've only been to India once, into Gujarat once, with my very good friend J.H. Pandya, whose family he comes from. So we've had a little bit of communication there. But I picked this up in an article about why Indian education doesn't sort of match exactly what India needs. I'm not going to read through it. You've all got your own ideas, and this is something that I want to set as an example. Perhaps it's wrong, and I want you to let me know more about where the problems and the strengths of Indian education are. After this presentation, or even during the presentation, send me a note. Let's have a look at the name that we came up with, the International Ecological Agricultural Innovation Hub. And if we shorten it, we get Ecological Innovation Hub. A hub meaning a hub of something that's new, something that's created. What's that going to be? Okay, so as I said, we need a better name. So why do you think you've got a pad or an iPad in front of you or a phone? Have to think about a name, because names are very, very important. Something that we can wrap around a number of different ideas, existing ideas and new ideas. So please get your mind to it. Okay, so what we've got is a whole lot of letters, and we've got books, we've got videos, a whole range of things that are telling us about how bad things are. but there's also still some very, very good things. Yes, our soil, air, water are precious and endangered and polluted. We know all that, so we're not here today to sort of go on and on and on about the existing problems. What we're here today is to try and come up with something that's a little bit different, that will bring about a different type of understanding in schools and what schools and what children need, what students need, what adults need, to be able to move things forward a bit more. This is a good one. I really like this one, and I've used Albert Einstein a fair bit throughout this presentation. As you heard, my introduction is very long because I'm quite old. And because I'm quite old, I can remember what it was like going to high school in the 1960s. And I teach part-time in a high school in Australia now, in 2022. And the books are basically the same, except that they're coloured now, rather than just black and white. So what we're doing in education is we're repeating the mistakes over and over again, but we expect different results. And it's these results that cause a lot of problems with students who drop out, and students who just don't understand. And then you get those who study anything, and they have the ability to go and pass exams. So we've got a whole lot of different things we need to be thinking about in education, and how do we change it, and how do we make it more meaningful for the future. Experience. See the blue dot? That's where I am now. The green dots are where my family background. Now in Australia, most of us have a fairly mixed race. The Indian population in Australia is the largest foreign population by far. And it's also getting very close after the Mexicans in the United States. So the green dots, China, Russia, Scotland, Ireland, and England is my ethnic background. Purple dots are the places where I've worked. Not just visited, but actually worked in those places. And I want to talk to you first of all about Papua New Guinea, the first area where I started to understand the environment. I went to Papua New Guinea the first time in 1966. Well before a lot of you were born, and it had been a long time before some of your parents were born. And in this Indian city district here, a place called Tolani. And what I learned about Papua New Guinea that stayed with me all the time is poverty. The missionaries went in Papua New Guinea, supposedly like when the British went into India, and they put into place school systems. And the teacher would say to the kids, you're not allowed to get dirty. You've got to read these books. Books they didn't understand. And what it did, the kids were disjointed from their community. And this has happened in so many different places, wherever the British went, that the educational process, aligned with the religious process, alienated the kids from their environment. So when the parents say to the kids, come on, it's time now to go and hunt. No, we can't. It's time now to go and eat food. No, we can't. Why can't you? Because the teacher said we can't get our clothes dirty. So we had this disassociation as a cultural thing. So with me, having had that experience, I did learn that the environment is everything, but it isn't me, because I've been made into something else. A little bit of background. China, India, and I even got in the newspaper in Gujarat. I had no idea what it says, but a visit to a very, very interesting school, the genius school, which catered very, very well for all of their students and had a wonderful special education centre. And then in China, my last school in China was Harrow International School, linked to Harrow in the UK. It was an interesting experience, but very, very formal and exam oriented. Now, what happens to all those kids who can't fit into this education system? What happens to them? We know what happens to kids in India. We know that there are a huge number of children in India who are working and not able to go to school. We're not going to make a moral or a comment about it. It's something that happens. What we're about here is working out what can we do to make that and their situation better. Now, the situation in Australia is as follows. There are many, many students who disappear out of the school system, and it costs over their lifetime nearly $1 million in support. Now, I know that it's a lot of money, and we do have a welfare system that allows that to happen. But the waste, and why do we lose so many children? We lose them because they're not engaged. Now, I want to tell you a story about PISA. You're probably aware that PISA hold examinations to rank the nations in terms of who's performing well and who's not performing well. So the next slide, I hope that you can see, I'll just point out. In 2012, Shanghai was first in mathematics, reading, and science. And here, China is also first. And let me explain why I hate these type of tables. I was in Shanghai in 2004, and this is what happens. PISA will come into a country and say, I need to go to this school, this school, this school. Yeah, that's okay. When they go to China, China said, you will go into these schools, nowhere else. And notice that they're only in Shanghai. So we have a skewed result. What Shanghai does is they have practice tests months before PISA. They're ongoing. And they select the very best students and they put them into the schools where PISA is going to test. The next thing that really astounded me was that they took photographs of all of the good mathematics kids, they took photographs of all of the good reading kids, and the good science kids, and they matched them together. So the two students would have the same name, but do different tests. Now, when we complained to PISA about this, PISA didn't want to know about it because money, situation, and so on. So when we look at testing, we have to be very careful that we're not testing kids out of reality and out of education. Change, my life has had to change a lot. And then on the left, I saw this in a school in India, painted on the wall for the kids to walk past. And it's something that is really good with the kids. Just look at it again, and as you're walking past, you can see what's going on. Now, education, the Chinese keep saying that at failure. the background that we need this day. Change the situation. What we would like to be able to do is to create based around this and this hub through a number of things that will change other schools, other universities. Because in the moment, environmental education. But it's not an integral part of education. It's just on the end. We don't have an actual syllabus, and until the kids are old and go to an agricultural college, like Block Bharti, which I know of in Gujarat, there's nothing there that's quite solid. So the students are still being told, do exams, study for this, study for that, and a lot of what they're studying is out of date. It has no relevance to change. It's been going on for a long, long time. So we would like to create a curriculum that we could drop into schools. A curriculum that's not examined, but creates almost a catalytic type of following from other students in little projects and finding out about what's going on. So what we've got at the moment, screen sharing, pause on a minute. Let me go back. We go. So what we've got at the moment is lots of ideas from lots and lots of people. It's got nothing to do just with me or just with you. All around the world, there are lots and lots of things happening in regards to global revival, cutting down on pollution, doing something better with the preservation of soil, looking at why and how we can use water more effectively. Lots and lots of organizations, but there's so much that when you search on the internet, you are bombarded with so many things. It doesn't appear to be any central line where we can go into and find information about different things. So we've started to look at how we would do that. One of my students did this not long ago, and what we're doing is we're swimming against the mainstream when we're trying to bring something new about the environment into schools. Very much so against what everybody else wants to do. So we say, oops, sorry, we just do it a little bit, and we let everything else flow by. Daniel Pink is one of my favorite education authors, and we have to prepare students for a different workplace. Things are changing so much, and the future belongs to a different kind of person with a different kind of mind. We know that child slavery exists, but why does it exist? It's because of an economic reason. Now, many years ago, I was doing some work in the Philippines with the Australian government, and we knew that children were being sold for $250. And we went up into the mountains, a place called Mexico, in the Philippines, and through the interpreter, we spoke with parents. And the parents said to me, if we don't sell one of our 8 children, everybody will die. But if we sell one, the others will survive. And all of a sudden my mind was thinking, well, what can we do about this? How can we stop that from happening? And it needs something very different, economically, and from our school curriculum, which will encourage the world and kids to support each other. Because nothing happens without money. And money is very, very important if we're going to change anything. So we've spoken with friends of ours in the Asian Development Bank. And they said to us, what this really needs is if you can get an organisation like Tolani and then the other universities around to form a group, then to work with different organisations, funding becomes a little bit easier. But funding always relies upon a very fancy and detailed and precise application. But we need to be going a little bit differently to that. Now, after this one, we always need a commercial. So here's our commercial. Before the pandemic, Jay and I were working with Rodney Hogg to establish some Australian Indian cricket academies. And that's why the first time we went to India together, we were looking at cricket. So please remember, if you want to play cricket, we're coming back, not only with education, but we're coming back with cricket as well. So make sure that you get the cricket bats out, and we'll see how we go with the cricket as well. So that's our advertisement. Here's basically the key to what we want to talk about. We need to be able to set up an Echo library, Echo bank, Echo schools with curriculum, an Echo club, an Echo enterprise with global funding. Now, unless we can get funding, not much of this works. We can always do something with our own time, our own energy. And we're all prepared to do this in some way or another. But it runs short if we haven't got the funding. So what I want to do is to go through this very briefly. But before we start on this, has anybody got a name? Anybody come up with a name? Nobody yet. Nobody wants that dinner for two in Kutch? No? Alright, so let's go through this thing. Don't forget to think of the name. So what's an Echo library? In India and in Gujarat, we have many, many universities. It would be really good to set every university with a task for their students to be able to categorize on one website information that students could go to find out about certain aspects of their environment. So it would become an electronic Echo library. Now, I researched and I haven't been able to find anything similar to that. Would that qualify for some sort of an Asian Development Bank or an agricultural bank grant? Maybe it would. So therefore, we need a team. We need a team that I'm going to call a task force. And that task force, we can gather, first of all, from Gujarat, and then with links that we all have elsewhere to be able to develop that into other areas. But if we had 120,000 students, university students in Gujarat, each one tasked with a community program to find 20 really interesting websites in regards to environment and development, we would have a very, very substantial library and a resource for students at all levels and for industry to be able to look at and say, okay, how can we use this? The next part is the Echo Bank. We need somewhere reputable to be able to, when we raise money, to be able to put the money. Now, Tolani has a good reputation, and I'm sure that they have a very good bank, and therefore we established a very reputable and accountable banking system for donations, sponsorship, grants, and whatever. We don't all go off all over the place and try and do it on our own. It doesn't work. We need to be working together. As Mother Nature said in the first video, we need to be working together with her And that means unless we're all working together, it's not going to work. So we need a reputable place and organisation to be able to keep the money. Our echo schools. We're not going to get echo schools because the curriculum is far too exam oriented. But perhaps we can get echo schools who will adopt a different type of curriculum or project base whereby they can assist other schools, other groups of people, and again put this back into the echo library as a resource again of schools who are doing A, B or C and schools who are willing to do things. Now, a friend of mine is the principal of the Canadian International School in Phnom Penh in Cambodia. And he said, yeah, we'd get involved in this because if there was a project and we needed a certain amount of money, our kids would be able to raise money to do something. Now, kids are really good at raising money for other kids, but they need guidance and they need a vehicle through which to do it, and they need information. Now, with the internet, we can set up all sorts of links to show kids this is what you're doing with your work, with your money. I know we've got a few little concerns about health and safety and the safety of our children online, but all of those things can be looked at. The curriculum, a curriculum from the Echo Library with project-based work can be developed very quickly. And the Echo Club, what's the Echo Club? Anybody who wants to join becomes a member of this club. And this club has certain privileges. So I've talked to a friend of mine at an airline, I've talked to another one at IBM. So this Echo Club becomes another means of supporting projects, schools, and others who need support. Now, Echo Enterprises and global funding, this is the real key. That unless we can find means to create enormous funds, a lot of what we do doesn't get done in our lifetime. Now, my lifetime's been about moving and changing, adapting, and doing lots of different things. And it was stopped by the pandemic, and a lot of things are now being stopped by the effects of global warming, more storms, more damage. And in Australia, even, the amount of rain we're having at the moment is very, very unusual, with huge flooding in the northern states. So Echo Enterprises, let's have a think about Echo Enterprises. We've had to think about it, and we're looking at different projects that can earn money. We need to look at the diagram on the right. The volume of water, all water on Earth, is depicted there in the big sphere of 1384 kilometres sphere. The freshwater, 270 kilometres sphere. Freshwater in lakes and rivers, 556 kilometres sphere. So there's really not much water on the Earth, but when you look out in the oceans, you think, oh, there's a lot of water there. But compared with the total mass, it's not. Now, back at the middle to the end of last century before, early 1900s, the eastern states of the United States were facing a huge problem with rubbish. Where are we going to put all our rubbish? So somebody said, you know, it would be a good idea, there's this big canyon to the west. If we build railroads out to the west, we can dump all of our rubbish into this canyon, and it will take at least 120 years to fill it. The Grand Canyon. Now, as you know, it wasn't filled with rubbish, and what happened was that people got together and said that we will buy a small section and stop the rubbish coming in, because they had to raise money to stop the rubbish removal people filling up the Grand Canyon. Somebody then decided to do it on the moon, and they divided the moon into sections and sold every piece of it in a very short period of time. So, as you can see at the top, there are a lot of square meters in the Earth. And we'd like to develop a program where each one of us can buy a square meter of the Earth, and it belongs to us in our care. Not exactly on the ground, but up above, like an air lease on a building if you're building on the third or fourth floor. And that would raise a lot of money. The time is right to be able to do this sort of thing. Very, very right now. So we've got to come up with different ideas how we can raise large amounts of money. We also investigated how we can raise money in China. We won't go into the details of it now, but for around about $250,000 in investment, millions of dollars can be raised in China. Again, that's part of the work for the task force that we can develop from this meeting today. Because remember, we're not just listening today, we're thinking today. We're thinking, and am I going to participate in a task force or start to put some of the things that I'm talking about and some of the things that you're talking about and you've been thinking about, you can put them into action. So a little bit about the World Bank, I'm not going to read through it, but the hub can be in Gujarat. Now this hub would also write to various companies and say, okay, you've got a great idea, why don't you build it in Gujarat? And we look for some land and we have people build certain things that people can come and see. Now, as you know, this year, Dubai has had an expo, and there are expos that go on all over the place. But we need an expo where people can come, where we can look at online displays, and that could be in Gujarat. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through these slides. Interesting little slide on the left, it costs $38 trillion to create oxygen for 6 months. Trees do it for free, and yet we're still cutting them down and cutting them down. And here's one of the companies that we spoke to just before the pandemic hit. And they've got this amazing, like an eco-igloo, where you can grow things and fish, grow fish, food, and it's climate controlled, whether it's hot or cold. And so we wrote to them, and they basically said, yeah, let's sort of do something. We weren't very specific at this particular stage. But what we would now do is to contact them and say, how about you put one of these in our expo site in Gujarat? And that way, if you can't travel to Gujarat, we would have the ability to be able to focus attention of lots and lots of people worldwide on this particular area and what this product can do. Probably one of the most exciting things that we've contacted a guy, Neville, who is an international agricultural expert. And he's into the business of making soil work again, making soil work without the need for huge amounts of chemical fertilizers, which will eventually kill the soil anyway. Now, what he's come up with is a proposal that a school or university or a particular region, if they establish between 150 and 300 acres of plantations based upon his rotational system, it makes a lot of money. So when we go to a bank or we go to investors to say, you will get an investment return, which is pretty good, but the idea is to make money for education. Now, education is pretty much a training industry for government. So state schools, you go into a school, the government pays money, and parents pay taxes, and it might go to a different organisation. And a school is a zero income. If schools are going to be able to develop more, they must be able to earn income. Okay, we've got private schools, they can earn income. But part of that income can also come back to those schools that are not earning money and that need more assistance and more development. So Neville has put forward, you're not going to be able to probably re-get your money to go close to it. We've done financial analysis, and what I will do is, in the week following this, I'll put together a paper that has some of our notes in as well, because we're looking for people to come and join this task force. Yeah, why not based in culture? Why not based in Tolani? There's no reason why it can't be. We're working with a school in the United States called Clarksville Christian School in Tennessee. They're very interested in working on something in Tennessee, something to link. And we've spoken to them about Tolani, and they're very, very keen to look at how do we cooperate, how do we make money together to put back into education. Now, putting back into education, both in terms of our students and also in regards to other students who need our help as well. So in terms of this philanthropic joining together to help each other. I want to finish up before we have some questions. This little film. I would like is for people to think about whether or not they would like to think about an individual project that they're possibly involved with now, or becoming part of this Gujarat hub where we need to have a task force. So what I'd like you to do is to think, okay, would I like the information to be able to think about it? Would you like to send me some of your ideas so we can start collating them together? Then, as we all start to get out of this pandemic, we can start looking at how do we raise funds, how do we raise awareness, how do we bring this into schools. So there's my WhatsApp. I think a lot of you have WhatsApp, and my email address. It's Norman_Lacey at yahoo.com. So if you can send me those. Has anybody thought of a name? If not yet, can you please make sure you send it to me? The last 4 children there in China, the school there never had seen a foreign teacher before. And the reaction to the foreign teacher was just almost like being an old pop star. That's the sort of welcome that we will get from students all around the world who need this extra help and extra assistance, and it can be done in so many different ways. What we haven't been able to do as a group of people is to find a hub which can initiate the care, the changes, and the fundraising that needs to be done because people out there have money. Corporations will build things in a centre of excellence where other people can come and see them and buy the products. It's a sales and marketing exercise. So at this stage, again, thank you for the opportunity to begin our journey together. As soon as we can, Jay and I will be back in Gujarat. We'll come and visit you, we'll talk with you, and we can fill you in with what's going on. Now, if you want to join with me, and so as with us, we'll have a bit of a timeline and a newsletter which will start up, and we want people to give us their ideas. I'm old. I began teaching in 1971. I haven't been a teacher all my working life because I needed to change and go and do other things. Therefore, a lot of my ideas are very old. A lot of them I'm trying to make more and more modern, but I can see many young faces out there, and many people who have got ideas about sustainable development. I'd like to hear about them, we'd like to collect them, and see through using our joint resources and our contacts what we can do, and may start as a small project and can grow. Remember, if we aim for the sun, we'll surely hit the moon. And if we hit the moon, we're going to achieve a great deal together. So, do I have any questions from anybody who'd like to ask, or any suggestions at this particular stage? No questions? Where is Dr. Tolani? I saw someone there. Here she comes. A very quiet audience.
Hello, sir. Am I audible to you?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Dinesh Prajapati, working as a lecturer in the electrical department. Just want to know that your session was really wonderful. Just want to know what were we thinking, what the idea ideas or the plans which are coming from us, but whether we are putting in action actually. The tree plantation is one of the good idea. We are doing the tree plantation every year, a lot of plants are there. But really,
You are echoing from the other computer, so I'm hearing you twice. So we need to get you maybe to move away a little bit from the computer. If possible.
all right, okay, sir, got it, sir. Thank you. Now I want to.
Speak to me again and I'll see if I can, because you're coming through as a double echo.
Okay, now,
Okay?
am
Yeah.
I able to hear, sir?
Okay, try now.
Yeah, just one question. The plans, ideas, innovations, everything is coming from this world. Just want to give you one simple example. Every year, we are doing really good things in the tree plantations. But in my idea, in my thinking, when that plant is going to grow, do we care about that? See, once we have put it in action, after some times, we are going to forget those things which have been developed. Suppose one plant is done by myself. Does I care that? Do I care that? Whether it's going to grow or not, whether they give the proper water, fertilizers. Once the tree plantation has been done, this is the reality I want to tell you, sir. After some days, some month, some year, if tree is grown by itself, then it's grown. But if no one is getting care about that plant, it's definitely going to destroy. And this is the situation at the moment, sir.
It was very difficult because we're still getting the feedback, right? I think the bottom line in terms of a reply to me, you and many like you have some very good ideas and projects already in motion. What I've found is that keeping them going is very difficult unless we get a whole lot of kids involved as well. Adults can do things in a certain way. What we need is an army, so that when your idea is developing, we need to bring in an army of teenagers, an army of little kids who can become also part of that project in regards to owning the project. Now, these are the things that my work with different organizations in managing events and activities has been very valuable. So what I would suggest is if you can write down a summary of what you said, put it in an email to me,
Sir, I
and
just
then
want
that
to
becomes part of this task force, part of this idea. Then I can answer. We can put that into an electronic newsletter, which other people who want to know more and want to participate more can join in. So what I'd like to see is those people that want to start to contribute like yourself, do that, and we put it into an electronic newsletter, and I'll talk to Dr. Santana about that. It'll be very easy to do, and develop the feedback, and then link each other with other organizations, first of all in Gujarat, because we do have good contacts with Gujarati universities, and we do have an amazing number of very interested people, students, who want to do something for their community, as you do.
Yes.
So are you able to put that together for me?
Yes, sir, definitely. Actually, I just WhatsApp you as well. WhatsApp, I have sent you a message as well. You can see your mobile phone. I will just take your mobile number from the screen, WhatsApp number. Then I'll send you straight away one message to you. Session was really wonderful, but I was thinking how we can stop the global warming. which is very dangerous situation at the moment. If I want to tell you the current situation at that moment, the time is now in India 15:24 p.m. The inside weather of the room and outside weather of the earth is totally different. Nobody wants to stay outside.
Yeah. Okay, so again, the sound is very, very bad. I'm finding it very difficult to pick up all of your.
Okay, I will send you.
Not because of you, but because the sound system is bouncing back at me.
Okay.
So if you can put this down, we will communicate more. And hopefully more people will also then join us with this electronic development task force to help with what's going on. Because I did read, a lot of people are saying this weather at the moment is being driven by climate change.
Yes.
And yet, we might be able to do something about it.
I think
No, it's still worse.
now can you hear me, sir? Am I audible to you, sir? Still, I think you're in some trouble over here. So better I can write you.
Just hang on. Just hang on a minute, and I'll see if I can just fix my sound a minute. Okay, just give me
Look at
a minute.
it. Okay, better I can write to you, sir. So that will be the. I think you'll read it the message.
तो सर किधर गए
Sound setup in here. That's a little thing for us to send me. I tried to hook onto my phone, but it's still echoing on my phone as well. So, yeah, I did hear from a few of you to start off, and I look forward to visiting Tolani, calling a group of people, and don't forget, I would love to have sending me some things. Have you got any other questions? Don't forget to write to me.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
अब भाई कौन
Am I audible, sir? Am I audible?
आपको म्यूट है इधर कैमरे में देख के बोलो सुने
Hello.
The sound is very, very bad.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you, but it's got a very big echo.
Okay. Now, what you are saying, sir, we appreciate it as very innovative ideas you are doing it over there, and you are having a lot of ideas for having collaborations also. Like our students can do many internship over here in the areas, and we are having good pool of students of over 8,000 students in the campus. So whenever you will be visiting Gujarat, or maybe we can be in touch on mail, and we can have collaborative program to contribute into the sustainable development goals or in specific to environment. So it was a very nice session. Over to you.
Sir, sir, તમારામાંથી બોલાવો તો હું અહીંયાથી ઓડિયો કાઢી નાખું. ક્યાં રાખું? ક્યાં રાખું? ક્યાં રાખું? આ બધું જ આપણે ઓકે 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 ઓકે.
Yes. So, on behalf of Tolani Commerce College and Tolani Institute of Management, I'd be lucky to give a vote of thanks. I thank the respected chairperson for giving your precious time and giving us the valuable knowledge and experience. Thank you, sir.
So can we end this video?
Certificate of appreciation or paper. जब तक को रीड नहीं करते हैं
Hello. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time and knowledge that you have shared. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. This is Manish Pandya. How are you? I'm all right. What about you? I am here now. Yeah. I am at the back side of the stage, so I couldn't see. So very nice and very interactive lecture, sir. We are very happy that you have joined from your place, and thank you for everything, sir. Yeah. Namaste and thank you for. Okay, bye, sir. Bye.
Sir, bye, hello.
You everybody say bye.
International designer. Only the other thing.
Hello, hello. Uh, Once again, thank you so much for your cooperation. जनरली मूवीज में भी ऐसा ही होता है, आपको एक अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस मिला, सामने वाले व्यक्ति भी काफी खुश हो गए। आप सभी को फीडबैक फॉर्म दिया गया है, तो प्लीज आप वो सबमिट करा के जाइएगा। आपके सर्टिफिकेशन के लिए वो खास जरूरी है, तो प्लीज आप सभी अपने फीडबैक फॉर्म फिल कर दीजिए और यहाँ पर हमारे जो मेंबर्स हैं उनको आप प्लीज सबमिट कर दीजिएगा।
Jay.
इंद्र देवता की बात मान गए। सारे किसान उदास होकर के घर लौटे, लेकिन एक किसान अपने खेत पर वापस गया। वहां उसने वापस खुदाई की, फिर बीज बोता और आकाश की तरफ टकटकी लगाकर देखता। दूसरे गरीब किसान उसका मजाक बनाने को नहीं छोड़ते, कहते हैं बावला हो गया। 3 साल तक इसी तरह अपने खेत को जोतने के बाद जब उसके पास कुछ किसान गए, उन्होंने पूछा, तुम्हें पता है 12 साल तक बारिश नहीं होगी? फिर भी किसान मुस्कुराया और बोला, मुझे पता है 12 साल तक हमें बारिश नहीं मिलेगी, लेकिन मैं अभ्यास कर रहा हूं, प्रैक्टिस, ताकि जिस वक्त हमें बारिश मिले 12 साल बाद, तो मैं खेत को जोतना ना भूल जाऊं, मैं बीज को बोना ना भूल जाऊं, मैं खेती करना ना भूल जाऊं। ये बात पार्वती जी ने भी सुनी और वो शिव जी के पास पहुंची। देख लीजिए, कहीं आप भी इतने अंतराल के बाद डमरू बजाना ना भूल जाए। बेचारे भोले शिव जी, और उन्होंने मेरे डमरू में से आवाज आ रही है कि नहीं आ रही है, डमरू बजा दिया और धन धना के बारिश हुई। वो किसान जो कि बीज बो के राह देखता था 3 साल से, उसने लहराती हुई फसल पाई और बाकी सारे किसान एक बार फिर नाराज होकर कहीं ना कहीं अपने आप को कोसते हुए घर पहुंच गए। वो कहते हैं ना, भगवान ने भी लिखा है, किस्मत की लकीरों के आगे उंगलियां बनाई हैं, जो ये दर्शाता है कि किस्मत से पहले मेहनत आई है। वाह, आप सबकी तारीफों ने, आपकी तालियों ने मेरा हौसला बढ़ा दिया और मैं आपसे इस बात का प्रॉमिस लेती हूं कि ये सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट की कॉन्फ्रेंस हमारे एटीट्यूड में आ जाए। अभी यहां प्रश्न हो रहा था सर कि हम अक्सर पेड़ों की संख्या तो बढ़ाते हैं उनको लगा करके, लेकिन एक्चुअल हम वो फिर बाद में मर गए, जिंदा हैं, या उसका लाभ हमें कितना मिल रहा है, इस होड़ से अपने आप को थोड़ा कहीं ना कहीं हटा लेते हैं। तो मैं ऐसा विश्वास के साथ कह सकती हूँ कि टीसीसी और टीआईसी की इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के बाद यहाँ उपस्थित जितने भी मेरे प्यारे मित्र हैं, वो ऐसा नहीं करेंगे। पेड़ सिर्फ एक लगाएंगे, लेकिन उसकी केयर 10 पेड़ों के बराबर करेंगे। फाइन? That's really great. That's really great. So, a very warm good evening or good afternoon. Warm good afternoon actually. बाहर बहुत गर्मी है. Galaxy of intellectual, invited guests, professors, students, and ladies and gentlemen, myself Archana Jain is welcoming you. It is a matter of immense pride to stand here before all of you this evening. On behalf of TCC and TENS, we are delighted to offer a gracious welcome to all of you. तो अर्ज एक बार फिर किया है, महक उठा है ये घर आंगन, महक उठा है ये घर आंगन, जब से आप सब पधारे हैं, ऐसा एहसास होता है जन्मों से आप हमारे हैं। It is my privilege to invite Professor G. Venkateshwarlu, Dr. A.H. Carlo, Dr. H.K. Tolani sir, Engineer K.L. Bhavani sir, Bhavnani sir, to honor this dais. For this, I request Dr. Pandya, Principal TCC, and Dr. Sabda, Principal TILS. Please escort the guest. आप सभी मेहमानों ने हमारे इस डाइस को सुशोभित किया, आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. थैंक यू पंड्या सर एंड सविता मैम. सुख दुख सीखना है तो फूलों से सीखो. सम्मान हो, बारात हो या जनाजा, साथ सबका देता है. लेकिन क्योंकि हम सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट की तरफ हैं, हम अपने फूलों को किसी भी तरीके से हर्ट नहीं करेंगे. इसलिए शब्दों से स्वागत करने के लिए मैं आमंत्रण देना चाहूंगी हमारे प्रिंसिपल टीसीसी के डॉक्टर मनीष पंड्या सर जी को.
Thank you, ma'am. Respected dignitaries on the dais, my fellow colleagues and dear students. We are very happy to announce here that we have successfully completed the today's International Conference on Sustainable Development. On behalf of Gandhidham Collegiate Board, Tolani Vidya Mandir, Tolani Commerce College, Tolani Motwani Institute of Management Studies, and all our sister concerned institutes, I welcome all our guests. Though he is not even outside, but Bhavnani sir is the only person who is, but I don't think he is outsider because he is also with us. So, आप सबकी ओर से, हमारी सबकी ओर से, I welcome all of you to the valedictory of this 2 days international conference. And once again, I wish that whatever you have learnt, we have tried our best to introduce to you the international guests even today. I hope you must have heard 2 sessions from UK and Australia. Even yesterday we had Dr. Archana Hingorani and the others who have delivered their lectures on different topics of our sustainable goals. So in that terms, I must say that whatever we have learned, let us spread to the society, let us spread to our friends, our relatives, so that the purpose of this conference may fulfill. Once again, on behalf of TCC, I welcome all of you. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. शब्दों का वजन तो हमारे बोलने के भाव से पता चलता है, वरना घर की दीवारों पर भी वेलकम लिखा होता है. सो थैंक यू सो मच सर फॉर वेलकम गैदरिंग. हमारे बीच इंजीनियर KL भावनानी सर मौजूद हैं. आपके इस इंस्टीट्यूट को फाइनेंशियल कंट्रीब्यूशन के लिए इंस्टीट्यूट आपको सम्मानित करना चाहता है. मैं निवेदन करना चाहूंगी डॉक्टर पंड्या को और डाइस पे बैठे हुए सभी सम्मानित मेहमानों को कि आप भावनानी जी का स्वागत करें, सम्मान करें, और हम उनको एक मेमेंटो और शॉल देकर के उनका स्वागत करना चाहते हैं. जो टीसीसी की इतनी खूबसूरत प्रमाइसेस में आप अपनी तशरीफ रखे हैं, उसकी खूबसूरती का पूरा क्रेडिट भी भावनाली साहब को जाता है। इन्होंने इसको डिजाइन किया है, अपनी सेवाएं दी हैं, इसलिए हम आपका इस इंस्टीट्यूट की तरफ से बहुत बहुत आभार प्रदर्शन करते हैं सर। इन 2 दिनों में कब, कहां, कितना और कैसे हुआ, इसकी रिपोर्टिंग के लिए मैं निवेदन करना चाहूंगी डॉक्टर जगदीश रियानी, कैमरामैन डैश के साथ।
Thank you, madam. Respected dignitaries on the dais, my colleagues and dear participants. I will present today what we done about conference. Today's international conference on achieving sustainable development goals, multidisciplinary approach, was jointly organized by Tolani Institute of Management Studies and Tolani Commerce College, Adipur. As the technological advancement lead to the development of society, however, resulted in the pollution of the environment in different ways, which finally affected the human beings in different aspects. Sustainable development is the demand of this era. Realizing this, eminent speakers enlightened the participants with the research opportunities, development, and emerging areas of sustainable development during the various sessions of the events. The aim of the international conference was to bring together the best of minds to share their knowledge. It provides a platform to promote the exchange of opinions on the sub-issues pertaining to the theme. The chief patron of the conference was Dr. Navin Seth, Honorable Vice Chancellor, GTU, Dr. H. Carlo Sir, Trustee, GCB, Dr. Jairati Jadeja, Honorable Vice Chancellor, KSKV Kutch University. The conference started with the lighting of lamp by the guest as a symbol of knowledge and wisdom. The conference started with a welcome note by Madam Dr. Sampata Kapse, Principal Tolani Institute of Management Studies. She welcomed all the chief guests and participants and emphasized the valuable insights of the conference. The campus director of the Gandhar Collegiate Board, Mr. Aled Daryani sir, welcomed all and gave a detailed overview of the Tolani Vidya Mandir campus. In his address, chief guest of conference, Dr. Navin Seth, Honorable Vice Chancellor GTU, enlightened the audience about impact of global warming and sustainable development goals and congratulates the participants. In address, the chief guest honors Sri H. Carlo sir, Trustee Gandhar Collegiate Board, explained 17 sustainable development goals and highlighted major current issues of our country like corruption, gross enrollment ratio, climate change, etc. He said that the education system should be transformed by covering the aspects to learn to think, learn to act, learn to adopt, and learn to respect diversity. In this address, the guest of honor, Dr. Jairati Jadeja, highlighted on sustainable development through education. In her keynote address, Dr. Archana Hingorani, founder, Sina Capital, University of Pittsburgh, US, discussed on sustainable development through technology. He also highlighted Indian participation in green bonds, financial inclusion, sustainable accounting, reporting, ESG, sustainability, and growth of business. The vote of thanks was delivered by the conference convener, Dr. Manish Pandya sir, Principal Tolani Commerce College. The conference was divided into 4 technical sessions. The first session was chaired by Dr. Vijay Vyas sir, Professor, Department of Commerce and Management, Kutch University, and 11 papers were presented by the delegates in this session. The second session was chaired by the Dr. Kashmira Mehta, Dean and Head of the Department of English, KSKV Kutch University, and 12 papers were presented by delegates in this session. The third session was chaired by the Dr. Sushil Dharmani sir, Principal, Tolani Arts and Science College, and 11 papers were presented by the delegates in this session. The fourth session was chaired by the Dr. Rajesh Thakur, Head of the Department,
Department of Mathematics, Tolani College of Arts and Science, and 11 papers were presented by the delegates on different topics covering theme of the conference. On day 2, Dr. H.C. Trivedi sir, formerly Vice Chancellor, CUSA University, shared his views and ideas on advanced teaching learning methodology, considering goals for quality education, and covered the following points: rapid transformation of global economy, skill of the future employee, 21st century skills, challenging and conventional wisdoms, rethinking the conventional wisdoms, etc. Dr. D.G. Kodwani sir, Professor and Executive Dean of Faculty of Business and Law, Open University, UK, through his online presence, discussed 7 steps in embedding sustainability in teaching and also mentioned other resources for the same, and shared his views on making education economically and socially sustainable. The vote of thanks were delivered by the conference convener Dr. Sampada Kapse ma'am, Directors, Tolani Commerce Institute of Management Studies. Dr. Norman Leslie from Australia, in his plenary session, initiated the discussion on limited natural resources like water, and also pondered on creating real resources for the farmers, and ended with a positive note with his video address. The entire event was coordinated by Dr. Tejas Pujara and Dr. Jagdish Rayani under the guidance of Dr. Sampada Kapse and Dr. Manish Pandya sir, with very nice support from our colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Rayani sir. Now, work hard, have fun, make history. Cherish your education as if it was the last Oreo in the packet. Now, I invite Professor K. Venkateshwar sir for the valedictory address.
Good evening all, respected members on dais and my colleague friends and dear friends. They have asked me to address valedictory address. I am feeling something like after Sunil Gavaskar, Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, we had a nice, thorough gentlemen who are very knowledgeable in this subject. Like Seth sir was there, Carlos sir was there, and Jadeja sir was there, Archana madam was there, and also today you have heard 3 more others. In addition to the Madam Sampada Kapse and Professor Manish Pandya, I feel little nervous. ये स्वाभाविक भी होगा. बड़े-बड़े लोग बात करने के बाद में हमें उस बात के बारे में कहो बोलते तो थोड़ा डर लगता होगा. But I will share some of my ideas. Sir was yesterday I heard, I was part of that for some time due to some unavoidable reasons I could not be, though I was willing to be part of that all seminar. Sir was speaking about 17 sustainable goals, which was defined by UN. And again, Sir has given 17 sustainable goals of our country, and Sir has also given 17 solutions for that. I didn't really count. I hope they might be 17 or Sir was telling 17. So I touched some of them. These sustainable goals which you have heard and in which you might have written some paper or you have participated in some track, may be related to that sustainable goals. Some of the important things are not only analyzed now, they are since long. For example, Swami Vivekananda quotes in one of his
lecture. As long as poverty, illiteracy, and exploitation exist, every educated young man who does not strive to wipe it out is a traitor to his country. I hope you might be understanding. Today, sir has told 70. What I have told, it is already there today. As an educated young man, if we does not strive to wipe it out, then we may be traitor को हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं? देशद्रोही वो होगा, गुनेगार या traitor, even traitor. So that is the emphasis in our system, which is on our shoulders. What we should be doing. Not only that, yesterday while I was roaming in King's College, I saw it. All might have observed or not, I didn't know. There was a photograph having one quotation. The quotation says, "There are innumerable needs and ways in which we can help in alleviating human suffering. The urgent need of our country and the seething mass of our people languishing in ignorance, literacy, illiteracy, hunger, poverty, and disease is to raise them from appalling state of degeneracy by planned and concentrated efforts, to begin with by reforming them by education." And this quote was of our own Kaka P.S. Tolani. You can read whenever you go to Teams. While you enter, it is there. So these things were observed and these have been done. People were telling long before. Now, I want to speak after attending on 2 days seminar, what will be our role in future. First of all, I appreciate all the students attending this and also faculty, because faculty might be knowing research is an important aspect of their terms and conditions of service or anything. And for students, I was emphasizing with our team, please call students also, but at least we will find some students who will be interested in research, which develops their mathematical ability, research analysis, and also they will develop a liking for reading and knowing the facts, and those will be created. Those things will lead to innovation and creativity. And I especially focus on the youth of these. Friends, the future of India relies on you. You might be knowing the demographic situation of India. India, after 2 years, the average age of an Indian here will be 27 years. India is the youngest nation among all the world. You might be knowing other countries, Europe might be somewhere between the average age who is living in Europe, it will be from 44 years to 48 years. Even in China, it is 42 years, and recent legislation they are going for, it was one child earlier there. Now they are going for more. The same condition was there in China in 1980. So we have to utilize this demographic dividend. And if we don't utilize, one of the research paper I have submitted in one of the college, in which I have found, if we do not do like that, if we are going, our employment rate is same like this, our education standards are not improved, then what will happen? So there will be 40 crore unemployed youth in India by 2030. And assume if 40 crore people, if they are not having any job and they are unemployed, what will happen? We are seeing in the countries which having 2 crores, 3 crores, 5 crores, 12 crores are in Pakistan. Due to unemployment, there will be terrorism, all those things. So how to go out of this? The same time, the best thing is, due to the age gap in other countries, there is raising age in South Africa and all that, there will be 80 crore jobs. But we have to train ourselves and so that we can fit into that job. Out of every person living in this world, out of 4, 1 fellow will be Indian, our Indian. So for that, we should have good research, and whatever thing we are doing, we should focus on that, and we should develop that so that our country is saved, and also the whole world is saved by this. And I hope you all promise that you will help to continue the sustained goals. And I appreciate all the faculty and the students for actively participating there. One good thing is that the idea of bringing you over here, majorly was my idea. I wanted college people who are at least doing PG courses, they should join this. I had an idea, if they learn something, so they will be motivated, because by doing research you are getting many benefits. So you will be in the stream of academic life, so which enhances your growth, your development. So you have all participated, and I got one very good compliment from one of the principal. So he was attending this all the tracks. He told some of these students were doing excellent in that research papers. I didn't join. I wanted to join that, but I could not. Some of the students have done excellently good in that. Keep it up. Do it. It will be very better. And there is also one more research which states one who is into research and one who is not, a student who is not into research. If you compare them, always one who is into research will be better off in getting employment or in getting any other higher qualifications or growth. And at the same time, you have to emphasize all your focus on the whatever thing you are doing. You should do it for best, and actively participate and create and best teaching learning environment over here. And I also thank and the hard work done by the coordinators of this Dr. Sapada Madam and Manish Pandya and their team members who have worked relentlessly all these days and made it a grand success. Thank you.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर। सर एक चीज कहना चाहूंगी कि ओपनिंग बैट्समैन के बाद फिनिशर की जरूरत होती है, और जब धोनी छक्का मारते हैं लास्ट बॉल पे तो फिनिशर की वैल्यू और बढ़ जाती है। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच सर फॉर योर काइंड वर्ड्स, एंड नाउ आई इनवाइट श्रीमान भवनानी जी to share his views and experience with our institute.
नमस्कार, नाइस पे बैठे हुए सभी गेस्ट, सब एजुकेशन से हैं। मैं खाली एक प्रोफेशनल फील्ड से हूँ, लेकिन तोलानी इंस्टीट्यूट, तोलानी बोर्ड से काफी वर्षों से मैं एसोसिएट हूँ। बहुत अच्छा लगता है कि स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ पे, मैं भी तोलानी का ही पॉलिटेक्निक का स्टूडेंट हूँ, तो सर ने मुझे पढ़ाया है। तो एक ये जब पंडित साहब को फोन आया कि आपको आना है, मेरा तो ये सब्जेक्ट नहीं, पर एक जनरल बात करता हूँ मैं कि डेवलपमेंट क्या है। जब 2001 में कच्छ में अर्थक्वेक आया तो यहाँ से सब लोग छोड़ के जा रहे थे, माइग्रेशन हो रहा था, और ऐसा होता ही है। उसके बाद सरकार, केंद्र सरकार को भी लगा कि यहाँ पे अगर ये कुछ इनिशिएटिव स्कीम नहीं दी तो शायद कच्छ पॉपुलेशन उस समय 15 से 16 लाख ही थी 2001 में, और कच्छ इतना भौगोलिक दृष्टि से इतना बड़ा है और बहुत सारी समस्याएं हैं, पानी की समस्या, मौसम, इधर गर्मी ज्यादा, ठंडी ज्यादा, बारिश नहीं, तो माइग्रेशन तो और ज्यादा तेजी से होना था, पर एक डेवलपमेंट करने के लिए सरकार ने जो एक्साइज और सेल टैक्स की स्कीम दी, उसके बाद इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट यहाँ पे हुआ और लोग यहाँ से जाने के बदले यहाँ पे आने लगे। कोई भी सक्सेसफुल डेवलपमेंट होता है तो एक उधर का वातावरण कैसा है, एक उधर के सोसाइटी कैसी है, लोग भी तो होने चाहिए डेवलपमेंट करने के लिए। पॉपुलेशन मतलब आप और हम, वो भी जरूरी है। वातावरण कैसा है, उसके बाद दूसरी भौगोलिक परिस्थितियां कैसी है। मैं आपको बता दूं, मैंने सर्वे किया और मैंने इसके ऊपर रिपोर्ट भी बनाई थी। इंडस्ट्री को लेकर आने के लिए ओपीजी पावर प्रोजेक्ट की तरफ भद्रेश्वर की तरह आया हुआ है। आप मानोगे नहीं, जब अदानी आए नहीं थे, गौतम अदानी जी, तभी भी एक कंपनी आ रही थी गाड़ी करके, वो सॉल्ट बनाते हैं और सॉल्ट बनाने के लिए आ रहे थे, और उसका सर्वे करने का मुझे मौका मिला था। 90s की बात कर रहा हूँ। पूरी दुनिया में हमारे को, जब हम जिस जगह रह रहे हैं, गुजरात में रह रहे हैं, कच्छ में रह रहे हैं, समुद्र का किनारा इतना अच्छा और उसके पास में फ्लैट जमीन, मतलब समतल जमीन है, वो वर्ल्ड में किधर नहीं है इतनी। और उसको देख के हमारे पास कंडला पोर्ट बना, खाड़ी में बनाया जब हिंदुस्तान पाकिस्तान का बंटवारा तब से। उसके बाद अदानी पोर्ट बना, और ऐसे कई पोर्ट बन सकते हैं। मतलब ये जो समुद्र किनारा है, इधर ड्राफ्ट भी है और समतल जमीन है। आपको कोई पहाड़, समुद्र तो बहुत जगह है, लेकिन वहां पे पहाड़ है, अफसर जल है, जंगल है, जा नहीं सकते हो, रास्ता नहीं है, तो डेवलपमेंट नहीं होगा, लोग नहीं है। तो डेवलपमेंट के लिए लोगों की इच्छा भी जरूरी है। यहाँ पे आए, जब सरकार ने स्कीम दी, यहाँ पे वातावरण ऐसा था, पानी की सुविधा नहीं थी, पानी नर्मदा की पाइपलाइन लेके आए, इंडस्ट्री को चलाने के लिए पानी चाहिए, सरकार ने वो सपोर्ट किया। और उसके बाद अर्थक्वेक के टाइम के बाद आज हम लोग तो उसके साक्षी हैं, कितना डेवलपमेंट किया है वहां हुआ है यहाँ पे। तो डेवलपमेंट के लिए सारी चीजें, वातावरण, हमारी इच्छा, हमारी श्रद्धा, हमको ट्रस्ट करना है कि ये हम कर सकते हैं। जैसे आपने बोला कि नई चीज, नया रिसर्च, ये सब हमको बहुत सारे चैलेंज देते हैं कि नहीं ऐसा ही करना, ऐसा ही होगा। मैंने बोला हो जाएगा, मुझे भी चैलेंज देते रहते हैं। तो आपको भी ये सोसाइटी, ये समाज में, ये विश्व में जो डेवलपमेंट हो रही है उसके ऊपर नजर रखते हुए हम क्या अपना इनपुट दे सकते हैं डेवलपमेंट, वो एम करना है, वो गोल करके ही आपको आगे चलना है। तो आप, मेरे को लगता आशा है कि ये 2 दिन का जो सेमिनार हुआ, मैं ज्यादा एजुकेशन में नहीं हूँ, बस स्कूल छोटा मोटा चला रहा हूँ, पर आपकी संस्था से जुड़ा हुआ हूँ। सब लोग एजुकेशन से जुड़े हुए यहाँ पे बैठे हैं, कुछ न कुछ सीख रहा। और हमेशा जिंदगी सीखने के लिए होती है, हर मोड़ पे, हर पल सीखोगे और उसको अपनी लाइफ में इम्प्लीमेंट करोगे तो आगे निकल जाओगे। दुनिया में सब बोलते हैं आज की परिस्थिति ऐसी है मैन पावर के अंदर। मैं काफी इंडस्ट्री का काम करता हूँ, काफी लोगों से मिलता हूँ, इंडस्ट्री लोगों से, फेथफुल, अच्छी तरह टेक्निकली काम करने वाले लोग अभी इंडिया में भी कम होते जा रहे हैं। हो सकता है इसका यूज सोशल मीडिया, इंटरनेट में ज्यादा हो गया, इसके कारण उनका दिमाग, ध्यान बढ़ जाता है, तो अपने काम से वो अपना दिमाग हटा के और दूसरी जगह लगाने के कारण डेवलपमेंट नहीं कर सक रहे हैं, फिर उन्हें जॉब इनसिक्योरिटी रहती है। तो आप लोग मेहरबानी करके उस चीजों में नहीं पड़ के और अपना अच्छे से अच्छा रिसर्च करके, गोल करके उसमें ध्यान लगाएंगे तो कहाँ आगे बढ़ जाओगे। पूरी दुनिया में बहुत सारे लोगों की जरूरत है अभी भी, और हमारे पास, जैसे आपने बताया, इंडिया के अंदर मैन पावर, यूथ पावर बहुत है, तो हम विश्व को क्या ले जा सकते हैं। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू सर। पर हमें डर है कि आप बोले कि आप भी एक एजुकेशन इंडस्ट्री से नहीं है, प्रोफेशनल इंडस्ट्री से, लेकिन आपके लेक्चर के बाद हमें अपने जॉब पे खतरा लगने लगा कि अगर आप यहाँ अभी बिल्डिंग में थे और अभी अगर प्रोफेशन में आ गए तो थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएगा। नाउ दिस इज टाइम फॉर ओपन हाउस। आप में से कोई भी अगर अपने इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के बारे में कुछ विचार शेयर करना चाहता हो, अपने एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करना चाहता हो, सो माइक इज योर्स। Yes, we are waiting. Oh, sorry.
Right, dignitaries on the dais of the dais, dear colleagues, friends and students. सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट की जब मैं बात करूं तो मैं हिंदी में बोलूंगा, स्टूडेंट्स को समझ में आए इसलिए। थैंक यू। एक्चुअली ये सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट मैंने रियल में जो फील किया ना, तो आई हैव एक्सपीरियंस इन चेन्नई। मैं जब चेन्नई में गया और एक विलेज में जब वहां से पसार होता था, तो वहां पे मेरे को एक फार्मर मिला। एक उसके कपड़े की बात करें तो ओनली वन लुंगी पहन के वो वहां पे खड़ा था। अभी he was farmer, so he knows the value of the water, how to utilize this water at maximum level। आप इस वाटर का इस्तेमाल मैक्सिमम लेवल पे कैसे, वो हर बार कुछ सोचता रहता है। अभी सोच तो आ रही है, पर मैं उसको एक्शन में कैसे, दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग। आपके पास बहुत कुछ सोच है, समझ है, समाज के लिए, नेशन के लिए, इंस्टीट्यूट के लिए, बट क्या वो हम एक्शन में रखते हैं? दिस इज माय क्वेश्चन। बहुत सारे लोग रखते हैं, लेकिन मैंने उससे वो कुछ सीखा वहां पे। ज्यादा नहीं, मैंने सिर्फ 30 मिनट्स के साथ स्पेंड किया था, एंड स्टिल इन कांटेक्ट विद मी। वो मेरे साथ है। डेफिनेटली यू कैन स्पीक इन इंग्लिश, क्योंकि उसको हिंदी थोड़ा टूटा-फूटा आता है। तो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट की मैं जब बात करता हूं, हमने बहुत कुछ रिसर्च पेपर लिखे, बहुत कुछ जाना, सर ने भी बहुत सारे अच्छे से लेक्चर्स दिए, बट मैं ज्यादा नहीं बोलूंगा। ये जो डेवलपमेंट है वो आपसे ही शुरुआत करनी है, किसी और जगह नहीं जाने की जरूरत। तो स्टार्ट विथ यू, विथ योर फैमिली एंड डेफिनेटली अराउंड योर एरिया। आज जितने कॉन्फ्रेंस में बैठे हैं, मैं ज्यादा नहीं तुमसे इतनी ओथ लेना चाहूंगा कि आपके घर एक प्लांट, एक ट्री वहां पे होना चाहिए। डेफिनेटली, थैंक यू वेरी मच। एंड हर घर में एक प्लांट है, इसी शुभकामना के साथ मैं यहाँ पे समाप्त करता हूँ। थैंक यू।
सर, यहाँ हिंदी में बोलना इसलिए जरूरी नहीं होता कि हमारे स्टूडेंट समझ लें, इसलिए हमारे स्टूडेंट हिंदी समझते हैं क्योंकि उन्हें हमारी मातृभाषा से प्यार है। तो सबसे बड़ा धन्यवाद हमारी गलतियों को, क्योंकि सबसे ज्यादा हमने उन्हीं से तो सीखा है। लेकिन धन्यवाद कहो उन जनाब को जो बिना स्वार्थ के मदद करें आपको। और इस लिस्ट को लेकर के हमारे बीच हमारे इंस्टीट्यूट की बहुत ही एक्सपीरियंस्ड, बहुत ही टैलेंटेड डॉक्टर एडी भारती जी को मैं आमंत्रण देना चाहूंगी कि आप वोट ऑफ थैंक्स प्रदान करें।
Honorable dignitaries on the dais, of the dais, dear faculty members and my dear students, I am privileged to express my sincere vote of thanks to all the concerned in shaping this event from the very beginning till the end. Particularly today, I would like to express my special thanks to our Venkat sir for delivering his valedictory address at our very short notice. I would also acknowledge and appreciate the commendable philanthropic spirit of our Bhavnani sir, and thank you sir. I acknowledge, as Kamala madam has rightly said, the chief patron of this conference, Dr. A.H. Kalra sir, who has supported from the very beginning in shaping this event till today. I also express my sincere vote of thanks to our Honorable H.K. Kriplani sir for his gracious presence on both the days. Thank you, sir. My special thanks goes to those sincere delegates who presented their papers on different issues, who took pain to do something in this regard. Further, I would like to acknowledge all the invited speakers and resource persons for their thought-provoking, enlightening, amazing sessions. Really, we are blessed to have some of those resource persons in these 2 days. We all experienced the same. So my sincere thanks to all the resource persons. Further, you might have noticed both the coordinators, Tejas Pujara sir and Jagdish Dayani from TCC, they were taking maximum pains to arrange this international conference on the sustainable development to a very great extent. So, I appreciate all the committee members and both the coordinators for taking their special pains in organizing this event. And today, I would like to express my special thanks to Jay Kumar Sakya for Kumar Jay Sakya, I'm sorry. Yes, Kumar Jay Sakya for managing media very efficiently to manage virtual sessions at our campus. Thank you, Jay. And now, how can I forget to acknowledge the tremendous support of our students, without whose support this program would not have been made possible. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for vote of thanks. The end of the story is the new beginning for many others. On the note, let's conclude a remarkable, memorable, and knowledgeable valedictory session. On behalf of the TCC and teams, we sincerely thank the dignitaries for being us this evening, and I request you all to stand up for national anthem.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाये तब जय गाथा जय गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय
Hello. I would like to request all for my team outside. Please have a tea. And thank you all.
Actually, I thought of expressing that was my personality. I thought that actually from the bottom of my heart I would like to acknowledge. But I thought that maybe personal and some people